Well, crazy hair today. I don't even know what to do with this. Just maybe put it to the side. I don't know. I have no idea what to do with this. It's just too much hair. I don't want to cut it though. I like my long hair. Here, that's passable. I don't even know if I like this angle, to be honest. That's a little trash can in the background. I don't even know where I want to film this thing. Maybe I should do it in front of the books. Angle it this way. That way you get at least other things to look at in the background other than myself. Hello! How is everybody? I wanted to check in because life got really weird, really crazy, just kind of different than it had been previously. And I wanted to let you all know, if you wondered why in the world there weren't a bunch of videos coming out this last few weeks, it was mostly because I was having really bad mental health problems, and it kind of came out of nowhere. I know I've spoken before on here that about thunder and lightning. It's also raining cats and dogs outside today, so today is perfect to me. It's a lovely day. But over the last couple of years, we experienced a lot of change in our lives. We had deaths occur, mostly on my husband's side. And just kind of a lot of people around us that have had health issues. We also are a caregiver for someone who is mentally handicapped. Their health is not really of concern, but they can't really do things for themselves. So I'll just put that out there. So we have a lot going on, and we have 2 children on top of that. And I think what happened is that all of this stuff, all of these things that are on my mind constantly, are of concern, got to me. And whereas for the last 40 years of my existence, everything's been fine, it's been chill. I would even say I have led a rather privileged and rather charmed existence, because I have never wanted, in my life, or needed, I was never in need of food, clothing, shelter, that sort of thing. I have always had the things I have needed, and I have always been able to pay for things and all of that. So I've lived a very privileged, very relaxed life, considering how other people's lives are. Very fortunate for that, and I recognize that, and I'm very, very grateful for it. But even when you exist like that for so long, I do think something happens as you get older, as you realize that your parents are not the people in charge anymore. They're older, they're possibly going to need care at some point. You are older, you are the adult now, you are the person that has to do the things, make all of the decisions, and make sure that everything runs. Even if it's not smoothly, it just runs. So I think all of this stuff got to me pretty quickly. So I took a break. I took a break from YouTube. I took a break from a lot of things. And I needed that break because I was having really bad panic attacks. I've never had panic attacks before this year. And they're terrible. And I hate them. And I absolutely do not ever want to experience these again. I have had probably 7 panic attacks in the first quarter of this year, which is very weird. Went to the doctor, I think around maybe the 3rd or 4th panic attack I had, and told them what was going on. told them everything. They examined me. They took a look at me. Everything seems to be physically fine, so I have done that. Then they referred me to a behavioral health specialist, which I am now seeing. She is wonderful. Probably the best decision I have ever made in my entire life, just to have another voice to talk, another person to talk to, and somebody to give me recommendations and to help me in the ways that I need to be helped. I am on a little bit of medication, nothing extreme, mostly just something to help me relax, because she is concerned that it is mostly I'm not as able to relax as I used to be, because I've got the kids, I've got everything else going on. So she said, take time, pause. During the day, you need to try to find time to relax. I know it's very hard, but you need to do that. So I said, okay, I will do whatever it takes to get out of this, because I don't want to be in this anymore. I don't want this anxiety. I mean, it's going to be in my life, yes. That's just, everybody has even a little bit of anxiety, okay? But I don't want it controlling me and my life and dictating what I do at all. I just cannot have that. So I'm doing everything I can to do that, mostly meditation right now, light yoga, trying to get back into exercising, because the panic attacks were getting so bad to me. I thought something was physically wrong with me, like my heart, my chest. Like I would get these pain in my chest, headaches. I was thinking that something really bad was going to happen. Nothing that we know of anyway. Nothing bad is going to happen to me though, so I should be fine. And I'm really as healthy as a horse, considering lots and lots of other people out there. But anyway, I think that's about it as far as that check-in goes. I just wanted to let you all know I'm okay. For those of you who care out there, I hope that a lot of you care. But I just wanted to let you know, because I do have like 75 subscribers, 77 subscribers, I think I last looked, and I'm so appreciative to everybody that has subscribed. I really do continue to want to grow this channel. Just while I'm working through this phase and, kind of figuring out what I need to do to keep, what I need to do to stay relaxed, what I need to do to, focus my energies and make it through day to day. I may not be posting as often as I had originally planned on. So if, so just thank you. Thank you for the understanding. I am still going to post, as much as I possibly can. And just continue on with BookTube, because I love BookTube. BookTube is one of the things that has actually helped me relax. All credit to Emmy and Olivia Reads a Latte. I can put those on and I can relax. Mel Reads, oh my gosh, girlfriend, you have gotten me through some of the worst things in my entire life, I feel like, at this point. So thank you to Mel as well. Thank you to everybody that posts. Katie Lumsden, everybody I regularly watch. Those people that I don't regularly watch and I just seek you out. But anyway, thank you, BookTube community, for, kind of helping me get my mind off of the anxiety itself. That is a huge thing for me. Distraction, just to get me to calm down, sometimes is the only thing I can do. So, but yeah, my behavioral therapist is also recommending me a whole bunch of other things to try, which, I'm following her advice and I am doing that. So, not looking for advice or anything. I appreciate it if you do offer some, but I am seeing professional help. So thank you for understanding that. So anyway, that's my explanation for right now of what's going on, why you haven't seen me. I am going to get into this video, though. We are going to do kind of a vlog. I'm going to catch up on some stuff with y'all. I'm going to tell you what I read in the month of March, I think. Did I post that? I don't think I posted that, actually. So we're going to catch up on that, what I read in the month of March. And what I'm also read in April. We're already like so close to the end of the month, so I'm just going to kind of wrap those two up. So it's going to be March and April, what I read. Hopefully that will be really good. I'm getting breakfast together right now. Probably some like avocado toast and some decaf chai tea latte, because I really, really want a chai tea latte, but I'm cutting out caffeine right now just to see if that helps. But I really miss my caffeine, by the way. It's not that bad. It's not like I was completely hooked, but I do miss it sometimes. But thank goodness for decaf. I have to say, thank goodness for decaf. So let me get that together, and we'll see you back in just a little bit. Hi, we're on the ground. Yay. So for once the stars have aligned on this particular Friday and my kids are not here, the dog also went to the groomers, so no dog. And then also the person that I care for on an occasional basis, who is the mentally handicapped individual, they're not here today. They're at their job kind of. It's really activities that they go around and do in the community and stuff like that with a group. So she's at a little group activity right now for most of the day, at least until later on this evening. So I'm alone at home. This does not happen too often that I'm actually home alone. Let me move the camera just a hair. Here we go. So I decided that now is probably the best time for me to go ahead and get some yoga in and do a little bit of a meditation session. So that is what I am going to do. And hopefully just kind of release some tension that I'm holding. So I found that the anxiety, and I didn't want to go on and on about the whole anxiety thing in this particular video, but just as an awareness. I just talk about it a little bit. Anxiety is really a lot of tension holding for me, especially like in my chest for some strange reason. My neck, I've always held tension like in my shoulders and my neck. That's just where I do it. Sometimes a little bit in my hips too, but I think most people probably hold tons of tension in their hips. So I'm going to find probably like a yoga with Adriene, because I love yoga with Adriene. She's like the very best yoga instructor on YouTube. I love her to death. And find a opening probably for the hips, some kind of relaxation, stress relief yoga. So that's what I'm going to do right now. Get that done and over with and try and relax for a little bit, and I'll probably just film bits and pieces of it as I go and just kind of cut that in here too. So I hope you enjoy. Done with yoga and kind of mild forms of movement, if you will. I also did some foam rolling because I felt like I could do some foam rolling on my chest, so I found some really good chest openers with the foam roller. Boy, I feel good now. Oh my gosh. Like a little earlier, I was kind of tight, but now I feel really good. So now we are going on to what I actually read in the month of March and April. So we'll start with March. We're getting comfy here, so, comfy chair, exactly what I feel like. Some of these I got from the library, so I don't actually have the physical copy with me. Some of them I listened to, so I'll note that. And then some of them I do actually have in physical format. So we will start. The first book I listened to from the library, the hold on this was ridiculous because I guess it was so popular lately, but it was called A Fragile Enchantment by Allison Saft. Pretty decent, cute little book. I enjoyed it. It was very light and fluffy, not terribly serious at all, so really good for my kind of headspace right now. I gave it a 3 stars. Didn't wow me, didn't knock my socks off. It was a very standard romance, if you ask me. There was some things in it that was a little bit unique. I think that it's pretty culturally sensitive now, to different lifestyles. People that are bisexual. I've rarely seen bisexuality actually talked about in a lot of contemporary romance even. So that was a little bit unique in this. So that was interesting. But otherwise the story was kind of whatever. But otherwise it was fine. I didn't hate it. I thought it was fairly entertaining. But anyway, like I said, 3 stars. If you are interested in kind of a fluffy, unique fantasy, this might be really up your alley. You might love it. Next book going along the fantasy trend, it was For the Throne by Hannah Witten. This is the second book in this duology. The first one being For the Wolf, the second one is For the Throne. I enjoyed this one a lot more than I enjoyed A Fragile Enchantment. I think I might have even enjoyed this more than the first book, For the Wolf. I really did like For the Wolf a lot. I tend to like the bad guy characters, though. That is just me. I blame Raistlin Magier from what are those books called? The Dragonlance series. I completely blame Raistlin Magier for that. I blame Zuko from Avatar: The Last Airbender. I blame all of the bad boy characters that I grew up with and fell in love with. Because that's just how I roll. I also blame my husband because although he's not a bad guy, he has his snarky tendencies and they're reflective of what I really like. So anyway, For the Throne, pretty good. The story got a little bit slow in places, but I think it was just because there was a lot of the world building going on, which is fine. A lot more interesting facts about this world, interesting things going on kind of came up in this world in this book, and she really needed those things to kind of make sense of the overall storyline. So I think it was actually done all right. It was just a little bit slow. But I did like it. I thought the magical elements of it were really interesting, really unique. I liked shadow magic a lot. That was featured in this a lot, but pretty decent. If you liked For the Wolf, read For the Throne. It's even better, I feel like. The next book, I finished out March. Well, actually, I didn't finish out March, but I had a few. The next book was First Love by Ivan Turgenev. And oh my goodness, it was so freaking good. I love Russian literature now. I think Russian literature is just absolutely fantastic. And I cannot wait to read more of it. I really, really liked this book. I gave it like a 4.5 on my scale. It wasn't perfect. I enjoyed a lot of it, but it wasn't like top tier, absolutely perfect book. I don't think I really liked the ending so much because it was a little bit sad, but my mental state right now is just not dealing with sad very well. So, it's just like that. But maybe I would rate this a little bit higher if I was in maybe a better mindset. But beautiful book. Absolutely beautiful book. I loved it. Cozy, relaxing, lots of atmosphere. If you are into like early 19th century, 18th century kind of life and living, definitely read this. It's very, very cool. The next book is this one finished out? Yes, this one finished out my March. So Anne's House of Dreams by L.M. Montgomery. I mentioned, I think in a previous video, that I kind of had a hard time getting through this one because a lot of good things were always happening in Anne's life. Anne led a very, very charmed life, even as an orphan. Very lucky to end up where she was in a loving home, that sort of thing. But here are the first challenges in her life. People are passing away. People are meeting and leaving, and there are people that Anne meets that have more troubles than she ever did. And dealing with the consequences of those things. So really interesting book, really interesting characters though. I did enjoy the characters a lot in this. And just another excellent L.M. Montgomery book. I haven't been, highlighting and underlining a whole lot in these books yet. I think I'm going to save that for another read through. But I did find some things in this one that were just beautiful. And I don't know, L.M. Montgomery just has a very poetic way of writing a scene, expressing characters' emotions through scenery, through their thoughts, their feelings, that kind of thing. It's just gorgeous. It's gorgeous. If you haven't read anything by L.M. Montgomery, do yourself a favor, pick up L.M. Montgomery. It's fabulous. It's gorgeous. Everything the woman has written is outstanding. So, then we go into April, and this is what I have read in April. We're not quite done with April yet. There may be maybe a few things that I might just throw in these last couple of days of April, but I really doubt it because I've just been kind of busy lately and we have a kid's birthday coming up, so I really don't think I'm gonna end up adding too much more to this. So the first one I finished was Bride by Ali Hazelwood. I have not read anything else by Ali Hazelwood. I'm not a big contemporary romance reader right now. I have read a few, very few. Maybe one other last year is all I read. But I think I might start picking up a couple more. This was all right. I figured if it was a supernatural kind of romance, this would be a really easy entry point for me, which it was. It was kind of fun, kind of snarky. The romance was a bit more, I'll just say contemporary for lack of a better word, more modern. The female and the male, kind of their power dynamic fairly equal, although I will admit sometimes she acted a little bit too powerless in a few scenes, and I'm just like, really, girlfriend, you're a vampire. Come on, be terrifying. Scare the shit out of people. And she did for a little bit, but there were times that I was just like, why are you acting like this? I don't know if a vampire would act like this. But otherwise, I didn't really mind it too much. There was some mention, I believe, of homosexual romances as well in here, as well as heterosexual. So there was a decent blend of things. I would have liked to have seen more kind of progressive, romantic things going on in it. But I think that romance authors, especially ones that are catering towards the female spectrum, the female audience, they tend to stick to heterosexual and sometimes a little bit of homosexual on the side. But I really would like to see a bit more. If anybody knows of anything really good to maybe like start me off in that direction, I'd be more than welcome to hear it. But I don't want to like fully dive into the stuff that I have totally no depth in. You know, consider me, you know, consider this audience here. Just something to kind of dip my toes in at first would be fantastic. So I'm throwing that out there for anybody that'd be interested in giving me some kind of a recommendation for that sort of thing. But Bride was okay. I think I gave it 3 stars. It was all right. I didn't hate it. But I also didn't think it was the best thing since sliced bread either. So it was kind of meh. Yeah, I mean, Allie Hazelwood and Bride is just kind of meh. I have read far crazier supernatural romances. Far crazier. And I was kind of hoping for something a little bit crazy here, I think. Anyway, that's Bride. That's what I thought of Bride. Then, because I was really in the mood, I was listening to Emma and also reading it. I did get a Kindle edition of Emma, but I wanted to show off my, I almost said Bridgerton. I wanted to show off my Chiltern Classics edition of Emma because it's so gorgeous. Look at the gold. Oh my goodness. The gold just kills me. And it's just so beautiful. I love it. And I'm so glad this is just the trophy book for me. I don't think I'll ever really read out of this one or highlight out of it or anything. But I love Emma. Emma is still my favorite Jane Austen, even after reading Pride and Prejudice recently and reading this again. Still my absolute favorite. People don't like Emma as a character, but I think Emma is a fantastic character. She has flaws. Main characters should have flaws. And I think that Jane Austen did an outstanding job with Emma. And like I said, it's still my favorite. Still my absolute favorite. It's funny. The people in it, the characters in it are hilarious. Like one after another. They embody these stereotypes that are just so funny for the time. And I still find humor in it as a contemporary person. So anyway, Emma, if you have not read Emma, read Emma. It's so good. Jane Austen and Ellen Montgomery just have been blowing my socks off lately. They're just fantastic. So after that, I did listen to a book by Lady Colin Campbell called Meghan and Harry, The Real Story. It is basically trashing Harry and Meghan from the royal family. Harry and Meghan moved to the United States in the last couple of years, and they've been living in Los Angeles. And there's been all these, feuds going back and forth. And I do some royal watching because I have nothing better to do with my time. And it's amusing to me, and I have an interest in it. So I listen to that sort of thing. But it was an all right book. It was very interesting listening to her opinions about the whole situation. There was a new edition of it that came out with some added content. The edition that I listened to was the older edition, and it was free on Audible. So I just went ahead and listened to that. It was very good. I like how she was able to basically insult them with that lovely British sugarcoating on top of it. I don't know how else to describe that, but it was nice, kind of like a two-faced, almost backhanded compliments in a way. I just thought some of it was really humorous. But if you're at all interested in that kind of thing, and you don't like Harry and Meghan especially, I would say listen to Lady Colin Campbell. She's really funny. I like her. Then, because Bridgerton Season 3 will be coming out very soon, I decided to read Romancing Mr. Bridgerton by Julia Quinn. And, oh my lord, I have not read a Bridgerton novel in a little while. And I remember now why I didn't really read but 2 of them. I think I read the first 2. This one's the 3rd or the 4th. Oh, this one's the 4th, actually. I decided to skip ahead because I knew that this one was Colin and Penelope's romance. And the next season's going to be focusing on that anyway. So I was like, I'll just skip ahead and we'll go ahead and read it. And if I feel like reading the other books again, I'll go back and read them. So, yeah, I really remembered why I don't like Julia Quinn's writing. This entire story is dialogue driven. All that happens is that the characters talk throughout the entire thing, which can be fine, I think, in specific ways. Like if you were reading Shakespeare, for instance, you are anticipating that it's going to be very dialogue heavy because this is a play. And you are supposed to fill in so much with your imagination. You know, you're given the setting before the characters speak their lines. Well, Julia Quinn, she'll begin a chapter typically with Lady Whistledown speaking about what's going on, the latest gossip in her letter to, in her column to everybody else. And then the chapter begins, and there's really not a lot. I want to say she puts a little bit of description of the scene at the beginning, but then the scene just plays out. And it is just dialogue, 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 and the characters talk and talk and talk. And I'm just sitting here going, are they ever going to shut up? And the way that she writes is so contemporary that the dialogue doesn't feel authentic to the time, which is a problem to me, but it's probably not a problem to other people. And it makes it easier to read. It makes it quick. Whereas for me, I'm just sitting here like, I really don't think somebody living in Regency times would speak like this. They would say the most modern phrases. I don't have an example on me right this second, but it just felt too modern. So I don't like it. Whereas I'm reading, Jane Austen and Emma, who actually lived in that time and wrote, in the way that people were speaking, which, Jane Austen, I think, is a very flowery example of her time, whereas L.M. Montgomery, might be a little bit more grounded, perhaps. I don't know. For her time. Who knows? I think that their goal was really to create beautiful material, which is exactly what they did. But Julia Quinn is just out to write a popular story. So, yes, it is a popular story for people. Contemporary, modern people to read. So, that is what I think of Bridgerton as a whole. The characters, Penelope and Colin, I'm glad that everything happened as it happened in the book. That's fantastic. I can't wait to see what Netflix does with it. I think that Netflix's rewrite of a lot of this stuff is fantastic. I cannot wait for the next season. And so I am glad I went ahead and read this just to see what the material was they're working with. I don't know if I'll keep reading any of them, though. They're so bad. They're so terrible. I gave it 2 stars. And that was me being generous because I just don't like Julia Quinn's writing. I'm sorry. I can't do it. Can't do it. So, yeah, I don't think I'll be reading any more Bridgerton, like I said. But I'm just glad I went ahead and read it, that I know what's going to end up happening. I may do the next thing for the next season. I just don't know yet. I don't know yet. I may just leave it a surprise, too. That's always good as well. So, yeah, I'm not buying the Illumicrate Bridgerton box set. That's like $700 on the internet, even though it's very pretty. I have no interest in owning that material. So I would rather get it from the library or, even steal it off the internet somehow, rather than actually put coin towards it. It's just not worth it to me. So I'll quit beating up on poor Julia Quinn now. All right, and then so the very last thing. And I need to figure out where I am in it exactly because, oh my gosh, Middlemarch has taken over my life. It is an absolutely fan-freaking-tastic book. I love, love, love it. I have 7 hours of it left over in the audiobook version I have been listening to, reading, listening to on my way to work, reading later. I've been doing everything with this. I have a Kindle edition. I have this edition. I have just been absorbed by Middlemarch. And the problem with me was the anxiety was making it difficult to sit down and concentrate on reading it, which was making me really mad. But the last couple of weeks of dealing with that and kind of getting myself out of this negative mindset that I was in, I'm finally now really able to focus again on Middlemarch, and I just absolutely love the story. I am almost to book 7, and then I got to make my way through book 7 and book 8, and then I'm done. So hopefully not too much longer on that. But like I said, I've got like 7 hours left. And I have a few days until the end of April here. So let's see here. What chapter am I on? Just to give myself a visual here. We are that far. So we are past the 75% mark for sure in Middlemarch. So I'm very excited to get to finish Middlemarch this month. And it might be a 5-star read. It just depends on how it finishes out, I think. Specifically, I want specific characters to end up together at the end, and I want to see bad things happen to some other characters because, oh my gosh, some of the characters in here I don't like, which is great. And then there are some characters I love, and I'd like to see nothing but good things happen to them. So, yeah, it's good though. I really like George Eliot's writing. Some people are not big fans of George Eliot, and I don't really get it. I think that she writes not like how she thinks, like a natural language to me. It's very natural language, and I like that. But I have a feeling that there are some people that are expecting something maybe along the lines of a Jane Austen maybe when they read George Eliot. But George Eliot has a different voice. And I kind of like George Eliot's voice too. And I respect George Eliot's voice, and I love it. I thought George Eliot was a dude for a while there, especially at the beginning. And then I was like, oh, George Eliot's a woman? This is even better. So, yeah, shame on me for not knowing that George Eliot was a woman, because I don't think I'd ever heard of George Eliot before reading this month, and last month too. So, thank you to the Game of Tomes book club for recommending this, because I love it. There's some people that have in the book club online that have given up on it and just sat it down, and they're not interested in finishing it. But I don't get that. I'm like, this is so good. This is interesting. What happens to these characters is really great. So hoping for a 5-star. If it's not a 5-star, it's probably going to end up being like a 4.75. So really good. Go read Middlemarch if you haven't read Middlemarch. Okay, I think that's it. So I'm going to wrap this up now. Thank you so much for joining me for the video. Thank you for listening to my problems as well. I don't mean to trigger anybody with all of my talk about my issues so far. I just wanted to be honest and get it out there. It makes me feel better to talk about it. Strangely enough, that was what I talked about with my behavioral therapist. I was like, you know what? For some strange reason, I don't want to contain this. I just want to let everybody know I'm having a problem. And that way, they know, and maybe I will get some compassion from them about this. Because honestly, I have told everybody. My boss, the people I work with, my husband, my father, my stepmom, everybody that will listen, my sister. I haven't talked to one of my sisters about it because she's, she's unavailable some of the time. And she's got a busy life of her own, so I haven't really talked to her about that. So, but I think as soon as I actually speak to her, she's probably going to get an earful. So, anyway, but I appreciate you all. I appreciate your understanding, and I'm going to keep doing what I can. I'm going to keep, going the course, keep on trucking, however you want to put that. But I hope that you all have wonderful reading adventures, and I should be back very, very soon with what I am going to read in the month of May. Oh my gosh, I can't even believe May is right around the corner. This year is going to go spoo by, and the next thing you know, we'll be in January again, starting all over with all new book plans. Funny, funny, funny. All right. Well, thank you all so much. You have a wonderful, wonderful day. Bye-bye.